We are ready to get started. Please take your seats. It is so good to see you. That was a quick seat taken. It is so great to see you all. Hi, Bunny. Hello. Yeah, go ahead and take your seats. We have an exciting second day ahead today. We got two HS education sessions. We got interaction from all of us here coming up here today. And I want to say hello to all of you that are joining us online. Hello, and welcome. Your participation is just as important as all of you that are sitting in this room. So go ahead and, raise that hand. You can even clap online. You see that? Exactly. So we want to hear from you. So send in your comments or you can raise your virtual hand and we'll love to hear from you. So yes, welcome to People Unlimited. This is day 2 of New Year, New Life 2025. Are we excited? How are we feeling today? Yeah, there you go. When I listen, because I know everybody was trying to get here on time and be ready. So now that you're here, now you can relax and you can enjoy. Is that right? Okay, listen up. Look at that. There you go. Now that's nice, Lori. There you go. Okay, People Unlimited is a longevity community, and this is a 4 to 5 day event. And you're gonna be hearing you're gonna be seeing and experiencing a very interactive, dynamic, and very inspiring time here today. We, at People Unlimited, we bring together the science of longevity and the spirit of aliveness to practice what we call the gospel of longevity, which you already heard a little bit about last night. We're going to be hearing more of today and the coming days. Today we're going to be here 1 through 5, tomorrow 1 through 5 again, on Tuesday 7 to 9. And then New Year's, we're having a celebration. We are based in Scottsdale, here for the world, but we got members and participants here in this room from all over the world, same as online. So we got people from New Zealand, Australia, England, Spain, Venezuela, Arkansas, Missouri, other places, foreign places, foreign beautiful places. But we're very happy to have you here. And speaking of that, we want to let you know that we do online. We have captions and translations available. So if English is not your first language or somebody that you want to hear this conversation, English is not their first language, they can go ahead and enable those captions and translations online. And we got almost all the languages available for translation on Zoom. If your language or your person's friend's family language is not available, let us know and we'll go ahead and enable that. And then in Spanish too. So para la gente que está en español en línea o acá en el salón tenemos traducción y subtítulos disponible en Zoom. Solamente tienes que darle clic abajo donde dice captions o traducción y activar los subtítulos para que participen con nosotros el día de hoy. All right. So like I said, today we're going to have 2 HS education sessions, and that's the component from People Unlimited, where we bring experts in the field of longevity, researchers, doctors, entrepreneurs, biohackers, you name it, and they come and bring to us their new findings, the tips, the research, the protocols, data. And today we're going to have 2 sessions. So I'm going to tell you about them too, and then I'll introduce you to our first speaker of the day. So today we're going to have first up Dr. Noor Gajraj. He's going to be speaking longevity from the present to the future. And then up next, we're going to have Julie Clark Gibson, who's here in person. Hello, Julie. And she is a biohacker, and you're going to be hearing from her about tips, and we're going to be having a very cool fireside chat with our director, James Stroll. All right, so now I'm ready to introduce you to our first speaker. So let me tell you a little bit about him. Dr. Noor Gajraj is a leading educator, academic scholar, physician, and podcaster. He is currently practicing at the North Texas Medical Anti-Aging Center in Plano, Texas. He has authored over 100 publications, including 2 books, and delivered more than 500 lectures, both nationally and internationally. His latest book, it's titled 100 Pathways to Longevity, Add 25 Years to Your Life. Please help me welcome Dr. Noor.
Thank you very much. It's an honor for me to talk to such an esteemed group. Just to let you know, I am an anesthesiologist. I practice not only anesthesiology, but longevity and chronic pain management and addiction. So I've got an understanding of physiology and pharmacology. If you think about it, an anesthesiologist can take someone that is almost dead and stop them dying. And we really try in the operating room to maintain homeostasis on a second to second basis. Otherwise, the patient could die. Now, why focus on longevity? Longevity is not just about living longer, but about living better. We're moving from a disease-centric healthcare model to a health-centric one, a sick care system to a true healthcare system. The goal is not to just add years to your life, but to add life to your years. Now, estimates of the genetic influence on longevity is about 20 to 30%. So it's no longer acceptable to say, well, I've got bad genes. Up to 70% of your outcome is going to be related to your lifestyle. Now, think about this carefully. In 25 years' time, you will wish you were the age you are today and to feel the way you are today. I'm assuming that most of you feel pretty good. So when I show you these strategies, please start today. It's never too late to get healthier. Now, unfortunately, we have a culture in the United States
Dr.
where,
Gajraj, I'm sorry to interrupt you. We're not seeing your slides. Are you sharing them? We're not seeing them on this end.
okay, let me get on to that. How about now?
Yes, we see them. Thank you.
Okay. All right. I'm so sorry for that. Um, so now I want you to think of yourselves as a superb 12-cylinder Ferrari. Now, to keep the cylinders working, here I've got the 12 elements. And you'll see these come up time and time and time again in talks about longevity. But nonetheless, I'll do it once more. Nutrition, exercise, hormonal balance. Do not forget to balance your hormones, particularly estrogen, testosterone, and thyroid hormones. Please get those checked out. There are a lot of advantages to hormonal replacement. It has got or has had a little bad reputation in the past, but that's recently been addressed. Stress management. That is a big one. Big, 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 because American society now is stressful. We're not really designed as humans to deal with so much stress. Sleep. We're all sleep deprived, or most of us. Um, we need 7 to 9 hours of quality sleep, and that's not happening for a lot of people. Social connection, we'll talk about that. We know that social connections are important. There's recent research that it's not the number of social connections, it's really connections that are warm and supportive. And you can get those in various ways. Obviously, your partner, romance, intimacy, but there's also intellectual connection, emotional connection, and connection with the community. Purpose. Have a purpose. What do you get up in the morning for? Is it to look after your family, to grow, whatever it is, have a purpose. Now, mental health, another big, big, big one. The mental health in the United States is terrible. I can't emphasize that enough. So please examine your own mental health and get help if you need it. There's an enormous amount of depression. If your mood is down, if you're not sleeping, if you're irritable, think about depression. Also, anxiety is, of course, detrimental. Screening. Please get a colonoscopy, for instance. I mean, that's just a wonderful way of preventing problems. They can take out colonic polyps before they become malignant. And then, of course, osteoporosis and sarcopenia. You need environmental defenses against toxins and pollutants. You need circadian alignment. That's the timing and ignition. and you need mitochondria and metabolic flexibility. So keep all of your 12 cylinders operating well. Now, stay alive until the longevity miracles happen. You can see the Ferrari there heading towards longevity breakthroughs. If your car isn't running, you won't get to the breakthroughs. All right, very quickly, I'm going to go through these because I'm sure as people have interest in longevity, you know all of these by now. So, nutrition is extremely important. Um, it does add years. A study found that adopting an optimal diet, which is actually pretty straightforward. I mean, I've looked at or briefly, there are many, many books, more than 100 about nutrition, but I think it does boil down to some basics, probably things that you were told by your mother. You want a diet rich in whole grains, legumes, and nuts, lean meats. You want to stay off processed food, and you want to limit sugar. Um, with a good diet, you can add an estimated 13 years to a man's life and 10.7 years to a woman's. Even starting at 60 could add 8 years of your life. So I want to give you some motivation for the new year. Start looking at your nutrition. And the key takeaway, small, consistent dietary changes have a massive accumulative effect on health and longevity. Now, sugar, I really want people to be more aware of sugar. Now, the American Heart Association recommends limiting added sugar to no more than 6 teaspoons. That's 25 grams and 36 grams for men. Now, this is added sugar, which you see in cans and packets. We do get enough sugar from natural food. We don't need this added sugar, and it's making us sick. So just be aware of those limits. It's very, very easy to exceed them. I'm sure most of us are. 1 can of sugar Coke, for instance, has got almost 40 grams of sugar. Stay away from that. Sugar is a terrible thing. We are not designed to consume added sugar. Um, it used to be a treat, maybe some fruit. It gave instant energy and it was a benefit. But now we've got too much. It's everywhere. And again, it's causing a lot of problems. Just to run through these quickly. Weight gain, increased risk of type 2 diabetes, heart disease risk, triglycerides go up, high blood pressure, inflammation. Sugar is inflammatory. And you can get cognitive impairment. High blood sugar is a major risk factor for Alzheimer's disease. And then there's non-alcoholic fatty liver, dental problems, increased risk of certain cancers, and poor mental health, mood swings, energy crashes, and sugar increases the risk of depression and anxiety. And there is accelerated skin aging. I want to bring your attention to fiber. A lot of people don't know how much fiber they need, and it's actually about 25 grams. So 25 grams of fiber and no more than 25 grams of sugar. Um, Studies showed that people that consumed 25 to 29 grams of fiber had a 15 to 30% reduction in all-cause mortality, heart disease, type 2 diabetes, compared to those who ate the least fiber. Pay attention to your fiber. Pillar 2, exercise. I think we all know about that. Regular exercise can reduce the risk of many types of cancer by 8 to 28%, heart disease and stroke by 19%. Regular physical activity has been shown to increase life expectancy by 0.4 to 6.9 years, with many studies pointing to an average of about 4 years. Consistency is more important than intensity. Even a little movement each day makes a big difference. Now, I'm not touting my book, but it is called 100 Pathways to Longevity. You will see as I go through these, each one can add years. So if you do as many of these pathways, you're going to get a cumulative effect. I'm sure you've seen a lot about protein, and it's recommended that we eat more protein than perhaps we did. It is now recommended to have 1 gram of protein per pound of ideal body weight. Why higher protein intake is recommended? Well, for muscle preservation, weight management, metabolic health, and higher intake of total protein has been associated with a lower risk of all-cause mortality. Number 3, stress management. It's a killer. It can, managing or high stress levels can accelerate the aging process by 9 to 17 years at a cellular level. I suggest that many of you do not know the extent of your stress. You've been used to it and you think that's just the way it is, that's modern living, but pay attention. If you're feeling stressed, you're not feeling good, do something about it. Sleep, very important. Lack of sleep can increase the risk of heart disease by 48%. Prioritizing 7 to 9 hours of quality sleep per night is one of the most powerful things you can do for your health. Number 5, social connection. Loneliness is linked to an estimated 871,000 deaths annually worldwide. And people with strong social relationships have been found to live an average of 3.7 years. As you do all of these things, your life expectancy goes up, some more than other, but let's combine them and get the maximum effect we can. Purpose. A study found that adults over 50 with the highest sense of purpose were half as likely to have died 5 years later compared to those with the lowest scores. Hormonal balance. Now, in females, in fact, I'm going to do my wife's hormone replacement probably tomorrow. She takes estrogen and testosterone. You may have known you may know the recent FDA warning has changed, and I'm going to tell you that estrogen replacement does not cause heart attacks, strokes, or clots, or increased breast cancer. Look at some evidence. In a study, women who take hormone replacement therapy have shown to have a 25 to 45% decreased risk of colon cancer, depending on the type and duration of treatment used. It can delay the onset of type 2 diabetes. A study has shown that severe gum disease was 44% lower in women taking hormone replacement therapy. This list keeps going on. Studies have shown that women were less likely to develop Alzheimer's, and they had a 50% lower risk of dying of a heart attack when they started hormone replacement within 10 years of menopause. A study has shown that participants who took estrogen alone lowered their risk of breast cancer by 23% and lowered the risk of breast cancer by 40%. It reduces the risk of fracture by 50 to 60%, and it reduces the risk of heart disease by about 50%. So, contrary to what a lot of people have been told, hormone replacement, in my opinion, is very good, not bad. Males, I do take testosterone. It can increase libido and general sexual satisfaction. That's not the reason I take it. I take it for to maintain muscle mass and strength, and improves bone density. Testosterone can enhance mood and energy levels, and it can have positive effects on cognitive function, red cell production, and body fat distribution. Mental health, big problem, especially in the United States. Serious mental illness can reduce life expectancy by 10 to 20 years. Psychological issues like loneliness and unhappiness may increase a person's biological age more than smoking. A little bit of a stretch, but at least it emphasizes the point. Improving mental well-being and managing conditions like depression and anxiety is crucial for extending both health span and lifespan. Now, it's shocking that there are 50,000 suicides in the United States. People don't want to talk about this. there's only 25,000 homicides. So you're more likely to kill yourself than be murdered. Screening, cancer, osteoporosis, sarcopenia. I'm not going to dwell on that. I do like DEXA scans. I had one recently. They're about $100 and it will tell you your bone density, visceral fat, and muscle mass. And then if you get a baseline, you can see how you're progressing. If you're losing bone density and muscle mass, you may want to up your strategies against that. Environmental defense. Just bear in mind that your environment will affect your health. There are volatile organic compounds out there, particulate matter, heavy metals, arsenic even, phthalates, plastics, and other pollutants, mold, for instance. So take a look at your environment, see what can be improved. Circadian alignment, the timing and ignition. And there are devices to dim, that affect warm and dim light. I'm going to not say too much about that. And then a big subject is mitochondria and metabolic flexibility. Your mitochondria are the powerhouses, and mitochondrial health is important. Incidentally, the first thing you may notice when you're getting older is lack of energy. So those are the 12 cylinders, if you like, of your high performance Ferrari. Take care of it. Make sure all the cylinders are working so you can get where you want. Supplements. Well, this has been gone over probably ad nauseum. I'm just going to tell you what I use. There's so many of them. A lot of them are not proven, but these, what I call the Magnificent Seven, do have incidents, and I'm just going to run through them. Sorry, evidence. I'm just going to run through them quickly. I like taurine. It has good data in animal studies. I like magnesium. It's essential for over 300 biochemical reactions. Vitamin D is extremely important. One of the best things you can do in terms of supplements. Most people in the United States are vitamin D deficient, even if they're out in the sun. Creatine, I like that for muscle and brain health. Now, the omega-3 fatty acids, it's a must. Strong evidence supports their cardiovascular benefits, anti-inflammatory effects, and potential to reduce telomere attrition. Bear in mind, your brain is 60% fat. You must have omega-3 fatty acids for optimal performance. Probiotics and prebiotics, and curcumin, which is an anti-inflammatory. Now we're going to move to the future. We've heard a lot about targeting the hallmarks of aging. Probably the most promising approach there is senolytic drugs, but we've also got replacement therapy. Now, this basically is talking about artificial organs, bone assisting devices, 3D printing of organs. Very important developments. And how about wearable robotics, bionic limbs, organ regeneration? We're not going to wait for the human body to evolve. We're going to augment it with technology. Now, here's some things that might be coming up. I'm going to go through very briefly. Solid state thermoregulation, moving away from sweat-based cooling to internal solid state systems that maintain perfect core temperatures in extreme environments. Direct nutrient infusion and filtration, a bypass of traditional eating, where nutrients are delivered directly into the bloodstream and waste is filtered out by synthetic systems. Artificial internal organs, replacing biological organs with synthetic versions that are more durable, efficient, and resistant to disease or failure. Internal resistant dampeners, specialized internal structures designed to absorb physical shock or high G forces, protecting the biological frame from trauma. We've already got artificial hearts. Devices like the Bivacor TAH are already being successfully implanted as temporary solutions. Regulatory approval for this use is anticipated as early as late 2027. And bearing in mind that heart disease is a major killer, replacing the heart would be a fantastic option. Now, here's something really interesting. Hemoglobin 2.0. This is the hypothetical emergence of hemoglobin 2.0 as synthetic or bioengineered oxygen carrier with 100 times the oxygen carrying capacity of natural blood. Going to be able to exercise for hours with zero muscle fatigue. It could transform emergency trauma care and eliminate altitude sickness. We're not there yet, but it's a amazing possibility. How about a limbic firewall, a digital or biological filter designed to regulate emotional responses, preventing hacking of the human psyche or extreme stress-induced reactions? Neural interfaces, direct links between the human brain and external computers and the cloud, allowing for the instant transfer of data or control of external machinery. Artificial eyes or ears. We've actually got the development of smart contact lenses, and these lenses can even measure vitamins in the tears. And actually, powering them might be by blinking. We're all worried about our skin. How about if we had a spray-on artificial skin? Exoskeleton integration, reinforcing the skeletal structure with lightweight, high-strength composites to allow for greater lifting capacity and endurance. I got an interest in pharmacology. Senolytics are likely to be a very useful technique, and there are trials, and hopefully they will yield good results. Gene therapy and epigenetic resetting. I'm not going to dwell on this, but just to let you know, a senolytic is a class of drugs or compounds designed to selectively induce death in senescent cells. Telomere extension. There are a few drugs in development, sirtuin activation, stem cell rejuvenation. I think you received a very good review of the subject by Professor Michael Chen. Therapeutic plasma exchange is already in operation. There are many clinics in the United States. Real-time monitoring, wearables. And we're going to go to hyper-personalized nutrition and drugs. This is here are the major players, the labs and what they're up to. So reprogramming, reversing cell aging, Altus Labs, New Limit, Unity Biotech, Rubedo, Xenotherapeutics, diagnostics, and metabolic health. This is an interesting piece of technology. Again, we're not there, but it's an exciting concept. The chromomyelocyte goes into cells and does the repairing. So, this might be the future human. Don't be afraid. Technology will be friendly. Looks like a cyborg, doesn't it? But when you think about it, you're already a cyborg. You have an iPhone with you all the time that can give you artificial intelligence. So you're already a cyborg. So in conclusion, longevity is not a secret. It's a science. Focus on these 12 pillars, or you can conceptualize it as 12 cylinders of a Ferrari. Please look at this list and incorporate them as much as you can. These pillars are interconnected and may be synergistic. Improving one often has a positive ripple effect on the others. All of these techniques and more are in my book, 100 Pathways to Longevity. I really want to thank you for listening to this. And if I have helped any of you to live a little bit longer or healthier, my job is done. I'm not hearing anything at the moment.
Thank you so much, Dr. Gajraj. That was very, I would say, the way you were able to wrap up that whole foundation all the way up to what we're very excited to see in that future. That was beautiful, very enlightening. Okay, so we'll go ahead and take questions now. And for those of you that are joining us online, you can also do that. So you can submit your questions. I did find very interesting that data, before we get questions here, on the 871,000 deaths because of loneliness. And I think that that's a number worth mentioning again, because if we were to see that many deaths from anything else, we would be outraged. But because we've gotten so used to it and they happen just over the year and that you just see it as normal. But 871,000 deaths because of loneliness, I think that's very, very impactful. And it just goes to show you how important company and community is, which is one of the biggest things we're doing here. But okay, do we have any questions in here or online? Joe?
Hi, I have a question about the the future synthetic thermoregulation of the body.
Yeah.
It's interesting, but why is that important for longevity?
Well, for homeostasis, if you want to keep your temperature in a narrow range, a lot of the cell processes need that. Um, but yeah, and we're not there yet. If you're not liking that, because
No,
doing
I do
that.
like it. I just
Yeah, it's there's going to be cooling systems. It's going to generate a lot of heat that way. But it just shows you that we think thermoregulation is skin flow and sweating. I mean, there are always maybe better ways of doing that, making you more comfortable as well.
right, right.
And
Thank you.
we have a lot of the heat in. I mean, I know in Arizona and Texas it's horrible. So I mean, it would be nice. And these things are just to sort of open up your imagination to what could happen, and maybe can make you have some ideas,
Yeah,
and not just accept the human body as it is. I mean, with AI and technological advances, I would hope that you would, take some of these on. I mean, we already have artificial limbs. We can replace all your limbs. We could even at some stage do something with your brain. We could maybe inject some brain cells, and eventually those new brain cells will be programmed by the normal brain
right.
tissue.
Yeah.
So yeah, replacement therapy. There are people that think, well, let's not mess too much with the hallmarks of aging, but it's very, very complicated. Maybe also look at the technology. I was very interested with these smart contact lenses. What can be done with those? You can have heads-up displays. That would just be wonderful, and they're not far off. And what I want to tell you with all of these, start saving up because these treatments are going to be expensive. We always, when we think of new treatments, there are four main elements. There is safety. So we could come up with a marvelous anti-aging technique, but if it has a 50% mortality, that's not going to be good. So it's got to be safe. How effective it is, we kind of think, well, we'll take something and that's the end of it. But there's going to be, efficacy, a scale, right? A lot of the drugs we have now are not 100% effective. Um, then ease of use. I mean, if we had a treatment that you needed to be injected every hour, you wouldn't like that. So it's got to be convenient and it's got to be affordable, and that's going to be an issue. How are these things covered? So start saving up.
Okay, great. We got one question here. Oh, go ahead. Yeah.
So my question is, you mentioned screening, but I want to ask you about different scans. Do you have an opinion or any deeper knowledge about the radiation that happens from different, like CT scans, mammograms? Recently, I've been reading a little more about how those kind of screening, especially also the dental scans, that they're so full of radiation that they actually themselves can really up the risk for different cancers. So I just wanted to see if you had any knowledge about that or something to add.
Well, everything in life is a balance of risk and benefits. I don't think I would put weight on the radiation versus, you know, identifying breast cancer. So there's going to be a payoff, and I'm sure you would want to prevent getting breast cancer, even if you're subjected to some extra radiation. Um, I want to tell you, there's a lot of stuff you hear these days. A lot of it is made up, right? So always think, what is the evidence for that? Right? People are making stuff up left, right, and center without any evidence. They're just speculations, maybe to get likes on the social media. But anyway, in answer to your question, personally, I'm not worried about it. I mean, if I need a test, I'll do it. Now, and that reminds me about scans. There's all these like total body scans. I'm not an advocate of that because I don't want them to tell me, well, you have a mass. You're going to have it biopsied, right? Now, that could be an incidental mass that's not causing any problems. The biopsy, bleeding, and all of that could be very detrimental. So I'm not looking for problems. Now, that might change.
Hi, doctor. Thank you for your presentation today. I was wondering, do you use any senolytics you would recommend, or what do you think the best kind are? Or do you have any thoughts on that?
Um, there are a few things. There's fisetin. There are some others in development. Quercetin. I use some of them. I mean, there's so many supplements to take. I mean, even because I hear about them as well, there's a bit of evidence. You can't possibly take them all. I mean, I can't take 30 pills. So I've got like a few stacks. I've got the ones that I'm going to take no matter what. Then I have another pile, which are good and interesting. So I'll rotate them. I might take a few of them one day and a few of the other. It's maybe called, yeah, intermittent. Hopefully you're getting I'm digressing into supplements, but hopefully you're getting most of what you need through good food. But if you want to top things up, um, yeah, that's probably not a bad idea. But yeah, it's analytics.
So, have you heard of the REMS bone density scanning that's out of Germany and it doesn't have the radiation? I
Yeah,
can send that to you. Okay. And do you have any thoughts on that?
I think it's good. I mean, whatever you want to use to identify your bone density is fine with me. If you don't like radiation, yeah, there are options. Now, you must get osteoporosis addressed because if you have a fall and you break a hip, for instance, you've got a 20% chance of dying in 1 year.
And then the other question I have is on peptides. What are your thoughts on the peptides?
Uh, the peptide I like the most, and is probably the most controversial, are the GLP agonists. The other ones, BP 157, are kind of hit and miss. But I haven't really spoken about semaglutide. There's a lot of controversy there, but I like it. I use it. It's got, for instance, may help with cognitive protection. You can look up the benefits, but semaglutide, I use it. I've prescribed it to hundreds of patients. I mean, losing weight is one of the best things you can do. If you look up diseases associated with obesity, it's huge. So that's good. Oh, I've got one little interesting thing for you. I hope none of you fail it, but if you can't stand on one leg for 10 seconds, you've got an 86% chance of being dead in 10 years. And now I'm not saying that you can't do anything about it, but if you can't stand on one leg for 10 seconds, you've got a problem. Now, when I think about exercise, I just don't think about cardio. I think about muscle, balance, and flexibility. And if you can't stand on one leg for 10 seconds, you've got to address all of those things. I mean, that your risk of falling is bad. You got another one?
Yeah. Okay. Hi, Dr. Garage. This is James Stroh.
Hi, James.
Hi. So nice having you here. Thank you so much for your presentation. It's been very, very interesting and informative. A couple of things, though, I wanted to ask you. So you stress a lot about stress. I see it's a concern, and I share that concern. And then you have 60,000 suicides, you said, a year, I think is the number
Yeah,
you came up
50.
with.
Yeah, 50,000.
50,000. Then you have another, what, yeah, lonely people from dying. That so I don't know how much thought you've given this, but I have a lot because doing what I'm doing in longevity for a long time, like I have, I've had to address this, of course, on a deeper level. Um, so right, my experience is, and I'd like to get your feedback on that. Maybe you'll stay on line here long enough, or maybe you're on the other day to get more of a feeling for what we're talking about, the gospel of longevity. But I can tell you're a person that's given this some thoughts. So I'd like to get your thoughts on the gospel of longevity and where we're going with this, because I have not seen any one address the stressors that we face that are even beyond sometimes what we even think they are. That's what I've experienced myself personally for working this field for 50 years. And 3 or 4 years ago, I began to see that it's going to take a lot more than we all think to live as long as we want to live, possibly unlimited lifespans. I began to search the depth of myself in this, and um, I feel that there's not been a deep addressing of it in the longevity field for the most part. And we carry the stress in our bodies. And how are all these things? My question too is that how are all these things that we're still wanting to stay alive to not only stay alive for, but have the capacity to do that and then be able to benefit from them in a very conducive way. How are we going to do that when we have all these patterns and programs in our bodies and these stressors that many times can contradict or not work as well? As you know, as a doctor, if you're not embracing a therapy or you're not as healthy as you need to be, it doesn't work as good. So this area that I'm speaking on the gospel of longevity, maybe if you haven't heard more about it from me, maybe you can stay online because I'd like to get your feedback on it as we move along. So that's my question. Have you given it that much thought? Is it something that are you aware? Are you familiar with what I'm talking about? I spoke about it some at RadFest. I had a special session on it. Are you familiar with what I'm addressing here on the gospel of
Yeah,
longevity? Okay,
I
as
do.
far as the immortal lineage and everything I talked about.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Good. Good. You have any feedback on that yourself at this time, or you want to maybe want to listen a little bit more today and give me more feedback either online here or personally, because
Sure. Yeah.
I'm out to get the real feedback. I'm not bringing forth something that I have an investment that has to be it has to be right. It's not a matter of right or wrong. It's about getting where we want to get.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a difficult, I think stress management, if I look at those 12 cylinders, I mean, it's probably the most difficult, certainly for me, because, I mean, you've said it right. We carry a lot of stress and we may not even know it because it's just the way we are and we have busy jobs. And I was talking to somebody, I mean, he's clearly stressed, but he said he enjoyed it. I mean, he enjoyed the stress. So I don't know if that's a thing, but yeah, it's hard, but I would do some things in the morning, meditation, just even if it's just a little bit, breathing, a little meditation, listen to some calming, I don't know, spiritual verses or whatever. But what I've done as a person that is older, I don't want any negativity coming in from too much of it from the media. I don't watch too much of that. If you think about it, there are a billion things happening in the world, and we get presented with a small portion to get us agitated and scared. So I think that's one thing. Be careful what you take in through your ears, and don't be garbage cans for other people's trash. So
Yeah, yeah, for sure. There's obviously stress I mean, the guy says he likes stress or enjoys stress. Well, obviously there's a certain amount of stress that can be healthy, but I'm talking about toxic stress.
yeah,
I'm talking about stress that comes from the program of death that's been there in our bodies and so forth.
yeah,
And how do we combat that? So that's what I'm going to be going into more today. So if
yeah,
you want
that'd
to
be
listen to
great.
more,
Yeah,
so if you, yeah, so if
it's
you want to
really
listen to more of that, you can.
yeah, it's really important, James. I think it's the most difficult one to set up in our
Yeah,
lifestyle unless you have some kind of if you have a routine. But you know, we have an ego, and the ego wants us to be concerned about the physical world. It doesn't want us
exactly.
to relax.
Yes. The things. So,
Yeah, yeah. Thank you.
okay. Well, thank you so much. You're great.
Okay, I
Appreciate it.
really appreciate it, and you've been a nice audience and very attentive. So
Yeah.
thank
Okay.
you.
We'll talk more in the
And I'm
future.
going to listen to the rest of it.